One day, I stopped, I literally just stared at the horizon, and I said to myself, the emotional highs of joy and happiness are not worth the emotional lows of sadness and anger. So, breathed in, and I breathed out, and then I didn't feel angry anymore, and I didn't feel sad anymore. I didn't feel happy anymore, and I didn't feel melancholy anymore. I didn't feel anymore. I just turned it off. We'll back up even further. My mom, when she went to school, she got a major in psychology. And so when I was very young, she started to notice there was some behavioral things that weren't quite normal. Like, for example, I wouldn't ever play with my toys. I would arrange them from like biggest to smallest, or I would place them in certain orders or whatever. And like sometimes when I was like 3 years old, the house would just go quiet when it was just me and her. And when a 3-year-old's quiet, something's wrong. And so she would like scavenge the house looking for me, and just to discover that I was sitting by myself in the middle of the room, being very quiet, playing with the carpet. Just because I was utterly fascinated with the carpet and like the weaving of it and all. They brought in an expert to come in and evaluate me, and after a couple hours of observing me, he told my parents basically that I was developmentally disabled and that I should be put into a special education program as soon as possible. I was told I would never go above a 2nd grade math level and probably would never go above a 5th grade reading level. And at the same time, I was having a lot of social problems. So I went to various different experts, and I was told I have autism. My synapses fire quicker than normal, which has some pros and cons. On the pro angle, I can absorb information quicker because my synapses are firing quicker. But at the same time, when my synapses fire all at once, I can't process that much information, and I shut down. And so, just to summarize, throughout my life at the time, I had all these social issues. I couldn't understand my friends, and my friends couldn't understand me. I had these academic issues, and I was told that I was stupid. Like, they didn't say that I was stupid. They said I was developmentally disabled, but you know, I wasn't stupid, so I knew what that meant. And I hated it. At around the same time, TV was playing Star Trek.
To boldly go where no man has gone before.
And on Star Trek, there was this guy named Spock. Spock was an interesting person to me as little Eric, because Kirk and Bones would always try to explain to Spock why he was wrong, and people would always try to hurt Spock, but Spock was never wrong, and people couldn't hurt him. And that was interesting to me. And he attributed all of that. He attributed his intelligence, his thick skin, all of it to this thing he called logic.
I find your arguments strewn with gaping defects in logic.
And so I became very interested in emulating that, because I liked the idea of being smart, and I liked the idea of people not hurting me. And I did that over and over and over again. I emulated Spock, I emulated Sherlock Holmes, I emulated Captain Nemo from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I spent my whole life up to that point allowing the world to tell me who I was. And I didn't appreciate that. And I decided, no, I'm going to tell the world who I am. Instead of just saying, like, I'm going to behave like Spock, I actually learned what the 4 laws of logic were.
I prefer the concrete, the graspable, the provable.
Thought should follow those laws. If the universe works a certain way, then our mind should work that way.
The sum of the parts cannot be greater than the whole.
I just gave myself more to that, and more to that, and more to that.
Step by step, I have made the correct and logical decisions.
Unfortunately, when you give yourself too much to logic, you start to acknowledge the truth. I gave myself to this idea of logic. I had to give myself to this idea of truth, and that was that I could not have sovereignty over my life. The meaning that I have has already been applied to me. I cannot give myself meaning. My meaning has been predetermined by my Creator. Crap. Now I have to start changing my behavior. Freshman year of high school, which was a horrible time to start doing this, I started allowing myself to feel again. And it sucked, but it was also awesome. And I just kind of gave God more and more of that control. I guess that's my story. I guess just that I let the world define me, and I hated it. Then I let me define me, and I loved it, but it wasn't right. And then now I'm doing my best and failing miserably, but God will carry me to let God define my life.
Now you'll find yourself back among us illogical humans again. Which I find eminently satisfactory, Doctor. For nowhere am I so desperately needed as among a shipload of illogical humans.
Touche, Bones.
Hello everybody, my name is Eric Wood, and as you can probably tell, this is not the normal style of video for this channel. It was made by a friend of mine, Joel Edelblute, who you may know as the extremely enthusiastic gentleman in my comment section. He is also one of the most brilliant filmmakers I have ever met, and he has two YouTube channels, one for more of his professional work / personal stuff, and one where he makes some of the best Lego animations on this platform of YouTube. So I highly recommend you go and check him out, shower him with unconditional love, and in the meantime, you are a beautiful human being. Try to change the world today. And as always, sincerely yours, Eric Wood. Okay, goodbye. You can leave now. Get out. I love you. Goodbye. Bye.